So I know tonight is not our NSS, but I know the majority of you are probably wanting to start on your POEs and your, there's a week between your last collab and when the POE is due. So I thought maybe tonight we should go over it just briefly, see if you guys have got any questions. Just to help you so that you're not only getting like clarity from me a week before it's due. Does that work for the three of you? Okay, thanks, Karen. These laptops and everything. I'm in Durban, so now I'm going to experience proper load shedding, so it's going to be fun. So I understand we're going through that. Okay. All right, sorry, zoomed in too far on my side. Okay, so zoom in your side so you can see everything clearly, and let's go through the POE. Okay, so all the questions in the POE are academic in nature, so you need to make sure that they have correct in-text referencing as well as a reference list, and that you use a variety of sources. Okay, so it does tell you that each part should have a minimum of 5 sources. Okay, so believe it when they say it, because there's a reason they're saying that, and obviously I do look out for that when I am marking. Okay, yes, it's a lot of sources, but it doesn't say that there have to be 5 different sources in each one. Okay, so you're allowed to use same sources for multiple aspects, but in saying that, each question is quite separate. But yeah, so just if there are ones that overlap, go for it. It doesn't say you can't. So each question in the POE counts for 25 marks. There's 4 questions in the POE, or 4 parts, and this is based on learning unit 4 onwards. So there's no repetition to the part. It's all new content, all right? And it's all like looking at the different stuff with regards to media culture and public opinion and all that kind of thing. All right, so let's just have a look at each of the questions, and then, like I said, in our next collab, which will be our NSS, I'll break it down again, and then if you guys have got any questions, hopefully you'll be able to work on it between now and then, so that I can help you and give you some answers. The other thing I will say, guys, there's only a few of you doing media studies. If you're stuck with something and you're not sure if you have got maybe if your intro is flowing right, or there's a certain paragraph or whatever, please just feel free to send me screenshots of things and I will look over it. Yeah, it's a pleasure. I will help you as much as I can. If I have got no, my exams are after you, so that's absolutely fine. So it's not going to impact you in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, just keep in contact. You don't have to do it on the group chat. You can just chat to me privately, and I'll happily look through things for you guys. Okay, so let's have a look at our media culture part 1. Okay, it says the production of culture is organized into visual, verbal, non-verbal, and or sensory codes. These then find expression in the forms of text or discourses, such as TV programs, film, newspaper articles, poems, music, lyrics, and so on. Okay, and someone by the name of Lemon wrote that for us. Okay, please don't copy the referencing without the comma there. All right, I don't know who did that. It says we each interpret these texts or discourses differently because as individuals we are unique due to the variables such as race, language, age, social class, gender, attitudes, and values. Okay, so the whole point here is that we are highlighting or putting emphasis on the fact that we all will have different interpretations of things based on who we are because of our culture, background, what we're exposed to, and so on. Okay, so now this is the first thing you've got to do. So you're going to study the South African Broadcasting Corporation's programming schedule and mandate. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have been able to have a look at this yet. Let me just pull it up so you guys can see it. If I could spell SABC. So a mandate is basically what they are stating they are going to do. So it is all about putting out their belief statement, what they're going to be sticking with in terms of their values, their ethics, and what have you. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, and I'm going to share the link with you guys as well. Okay, so it's just off their website. So if I go here to the mandate, okay, so I'm just going to put the link in the chat for you guys as well. I'm also going to put it on our WhatsApp group so that you've got it in multiple places. There we go. So now you're covered. So if you have a look at their mandate, it's outlining exactly what they intend to do. So this means, for example, it says the main object of the corporation is to supply broadcasting and information services and services that are ancillary thereto to the general public in the Republic of South Africa and beyond its borders to achieve the objectives as set out by the Broadcasting Act. Okay, and if you have a look, when they talk about their objectives, so to make services available throughout, provide sound and television broadcasting, whether it be analog or digital means, and to provide sound television programs. And if you go and have a look through these, it speaks to things such as to be responsive to audiences' needs, including the needs of the deaf and the blind, and account on how to meet those needs. You're looking out for the ones where it's speaking to differences, looking at cultural diversity and what have you. So if you have a look as well, they speak later on about making sure that they use multiple languages. So it's basically what they are intending to do. Okay, so you've got to have that mandate in mind. Then the other thing that they want you to go and have a look at, just share my, no, wrong one. I'm going to just get the schedule. Okay, is, I'm just going to put that in there and in there and in the WhatsApp group all in one go. Okay, so this is the programming schedule. And you can see that it's got the 3 SABCs, and they've got it from today being Thursday all the way to Wednesday. So they run on a 7-day schedule, and they show the different shows available to us and what they are playing. And then you can click on them, and it gives you a little blurb about each show. And what we should be having a look for here is looking at the representation of the different cultures and what kind of TV shows they are and so on. Okay, do those 2 pages make sense to you guys? Okay, so you've all got access to those links, and it also means you've got 2 sources there for this question already done, plus your textbook. So you're already sitting on 3. That's 5 including the textbook, by the way. So you've got 3 out of 5 good to go. Okay, so let's see what you're actually going to be doing with all this. Okay, so now this is the tricky part, purely because a lot of people don't watch SABC TV. You've got to select 1 episode of a show. Okay, so it can be news, current affairs, or music based. Okay, so that's what they want you to do. And it says there you can access SABC shows via the viu.com, DSTV. So, and you can also, if you can't find an entire episode, but you can find snippets of a show, or yeah, so like there's on YouTube, there's 2-3 minute clips and that kind of thing. It's just that you've got to be able to understand the context of the show. All right, so one SABC show. Unfortunately, it's not an international show, which I know would be a lot easier. All right, so it says, with reference to your genre of choice, you're going to write an essay of 800 to 1,000 words, so not a massively high word count. And what you're going to do is you're going to demonstrate, being your Bloom's taxonomy instruction word, how the SABC represents the diversity of South Africa's cultures through its programming. Okay, so this is why you need to draw on that scheduling and why you need to understand the mandate, because you need to bring those in where they discuss culture and diversity. So it says, draw examples from your chosen show and use media culture theories and concepts to unpack this. Okay. So it says you're required to provide a link for your lecturer to your chosen show to enable them to refer to it. Okay. So what you're going to be doing specifically for this question is you've got to find a balance of theory from the media culture, the media culture theories. So you've got that theory. You've got to talk about the SABC and their representation of diversity. Okay. And then you've got to apply your chosen TV show. So there's those three separate aspects that need to be present within the essay. Okay. Again, 800 to 1,000 words. I will give you guys a 10% leeway, so you can go to like 1-1 for each of these. But the whole idea here is that you need to be able to give me some content on media culture, a theory, then talk about the SABC, and then specifically to your TV show. Does that make sense to you guys? And when you talk about your TV show, guys, you need to reference every time you talk about that show. So if you're talking about it from the perspective of one of the video clips from YouTube or DSTV or whatever, you've got to reference it, okay? Because if you don't, then you can lose up to 10%, which I don't want any of you to do. All right, so just please make sure that those are referenced. All right, any questions with regard to part 1? I know you will probably have questions when you start unpacking it and start doing some research. A lot of people battled with this question. Yeah, a lot of people will battled with this question last year because it was the first time this PRE had been released, purely because they don't watch SABC. And I just said, I don't care if you can't find an entire TV show. If you can find a couple clips on whether it be whatever, Muvhango or whatever show you're choosing to do, it just has to be a show that is currently running. Because a lot of people wanted to do like top billing and stuff, which they couldn't do because it doesn't run anymore. Okay. And it's not a show that necessarily you're gonna watch. So current affairs shows are like, well, Third Degree on ETV, but let me just get the name of the SABC. I keep spelling SABC wrong, but probably just because I'm not actually looking at my keyboard as I'm typing. So what they have currently in terms of, come on, sorry, the schedule is not wanting to load. It's being difficult because I'm wanting it. I'll pull up the schedule and speak to. So when they talk about current affairs shows, they're meaning anything that deals with like the issues of today. So whether it be, so we have, so the news, just seeing if there is anything that is current affairs at the moment. So I haven't checked for a while. Afternoon Express's news. Doesn't look like there really is anything at the moment running that is current affairs, unless you call Judge Jerry current affairs. It has to be a South African show though, so Espresso could maybe fall under current affairs because it's not a traditional it's not news. So yeah, it's not like like the news. Okay, so it's anything that's dealing with the issues of today. The Globe is another one that I can see. I just clicked on the link to that one now, and that comes up with it's talking about current affairs. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at the next one. Yeah, Jam Alley. And Noot for Noot. Showing our age here. Thing is, it can be, so all the like other ones that we've got, like the Movangos and all of that, they all can go into entertainment as well. We are definitely showing our age right now, but in the best way possible. I love those shows. All right, let's have a look at part 2. It says, when we use the concept of ideology, whether it's in our everyday discussion or in the social science, we encounter a concept that is elusive and has different uses and shades of meaning. The problem may be that in popular use, the term ideology has acquired a negative connotation. I've spoken about that before in our lectures or our collabs, and is used to denigrate and criticize ideas, attitudes, values, belief systems, or worldviews that are held by another particular group of people, a group that the speaker does not like or does not agree with. Okay, so we've spoken about that already in class, so it's not an unfamiliar concept to us. So what you're going to be doing for this one, you're going to select an opinion piece or an editorial. Okay, so that could be from somewhere like Mail and Guardian. It could be, who else do we have? That's good. City Press. Yeah, Karen, I'm with you there. It's going to be a lot of Googling. Conversation, essay, news, 24. I know it's amazing because, I mean, I don't think I've watched SABC in a good 15 years or so. And it was only last year that I suddenly was like, wow, it's so different from back in the day because I just watched DSTV or streaming stuff. All right, sorry, there's just some publications that are good and reliable in terms of SABC, in terms of opinion pieces. Yeah, neither do I, Sasha. I guess if I had to go and use my parents' DSTV and log in that way, I could get access to SABC. But yeah, I don't own DSTV either because it's a complete and utter ripoff. So yeah. Okay. So that's why I say I don't mind you finding clips off YouTube because SABC is not as easily as accessible as it used to be. Not for like most people that are, I don't know, 45 and younger type thing. Actually, even 60 and younger. I mean, my dad uses it, but my mom doesn't, and because he's in his 80s, and my mom's 70. She only uses streaming, so it just shows you. All right, back on topic here. Okay, so you're going to select an opinion piece from an South African online newspaper. Okay, the article should not be older than 3 years. It's got to be current. Okay, and you're going to write an essay of 800 to 1,000 words again. All right, so obviously with it being an essay, introduction, body, conclusion, and you're going to discuss the dominant ideology found within your chosen text. Now remember, you don't have to only have one dominant ideology. Sometimes you can have more than one dominant ideology, but like there could be two very strong ideologies that run parallel to one another, but you've got to find the one that stands out a bit more than the other. You can kind of see the one that maybe makes one or two statements more, that makes it feel like that's the dominant ideology. All right. And if you if you find a piece you really like and to you there's more than one dominant ideology, just chat to me about it and we'll go through it and have a look. Okay. So what you're going to do for this question, you're going to discuss which theory of ideology, which theory of ideology can be used to analyze this text. Okay, so we talked about all the different types of ideology, so you choose one, and then you choose like that perspective to analyze the text. Then you're going to talk about the reading position of the writer. So are they being oppositional? Are they being fence-sitting? Whatever position they're going to take. And the reader of the article. So now, guys, I know that means you kind of have got to assume their position. So you've got to think about what you feel the everyday reader would be like when reading this article. Okay, so with this, it's about making sure that you are just being very careful in the with the perspective that you're taking. Don't try and find necessarily like the unusual or weird or wacky. It's about what's more evident and obvious. Okay. Oh, I've just shared the OneDrive link for Liza instead of the Collab. Sorry. I'm just trying to get her on. There we go. No. Okay, let's try this again. So it's very much about making sure that, no, you are, why is it pulling up the OneDrive twice? Sorry, guys. I'm going to go about it the long way. Okay. Sorry, back to what I was saying. You're going for this one, you're going for the obvious, not for the unusual or different. Okay, and when you are going for the position of the reader, like I said, it is a guessing game, but that is fine. You are going by what you would think is the average. Okay, like what you think the average person would be saying. Okay, so again, you can run that by me, discuss it with me. And also what is really important is you need to have the link for your article so I can go and have a look at it myself. So just at the start of preferably at the start of the question, so under where you write part 2, just put the link there. It's not properly referenced or anything. That goes into your reference list. I just need the link that I can click on it and it takes me to the page. Okay, if you want to do a full proper reference, go for it. I don't mind, but I do just need it at least just copied and pasted in so that I can access it. Okay, cool. Any other questions on this one? Before I move on, like I said, I know that you will have more questions later on. I just want to go through this briefly now. Any opinion article. It's got to be an opinion piece. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. Oh, sorry, I jumped a page. I forgot that it starts at the bottom of the page. All right, let's have a look. So you've got a scenario here. So it says you're having lunch with 2 of your classmates named Zama and Angela after your final exam. While waiting for your food to be brought to your table, Zama goes on Twitter to check what people are discussing on the site. One of the number one topics that is trending is on the issue of load shedding and high electricity prices. Funny, this was released last year and nothing has changed. People from various societal class, backgrounds, and professions are discussing how load shedding could be solved and commenting on its impact on their lives. Again, nothing has changed. You and Zama begin discussing the load shedding hashtag, and Angela comments on how this discussion on Twitter reminds her of Habermas's concept of the public sphere, because this is a very realistic scenario, guys. So the concept of the public sphere that you've all been studied in your media studies module. Okay. She goes further on to assert that to her, Twitter is a modern day public sphere as it creates a forum for critical debates. Zama argues that for her, Twitter represents a decline of the public sphere, as it is not a forum for critical and rational debate, but more an instrument for the manipulation of public discourse and narrative by influencers and political elites. Okay. I don't know about you guys, I can see both arguments in this perspective, that seeing it as a public sphere, but also seeing it as the thing that is basically eroding our public sphere. So please don't choose a perspective that you think I will like, because I can literally see both sides of the argument and the strengths and weaknesses of both. Okay. So again, you're going to write an essay in which you either agree with Angela that Twitter represents a modern day public sphere, or with Summer about Twitter being rather a decline of the public sphere. So the aim here is about you choosing a side and sticking with it. But it doesn't matter which side you choose. You have to go and show the other side of the argument as well. So let's say you agree with Zama that it's the decline of the public sphere. You still got to state what the public sphere is all about and what it's meant to be and what it's meant to be for, and then say how Twitter goes against that because of this, this, and this, and this. And then if you're going from the other side, you've got to talk about how there's this view of the decline of the public sphere and a lack of communication and being able to voice opinions. But if you look at Twitter, look at how it gives us that kind of platform. So again, either side, I don't mind which side you go for, but you do need to give 3 examples to support your argument. So to give these examples, you will either quote the tweets, or you can put screenshots in of the tweets that people have posted talking about load shedding. Okay, so you've got to find current or within the last year real examples. That's fine, Sasha, if you don't have Twitter. If you Google Twitter load shedding ESCOM, you will come up with a whole bunch of different searches. It'll come up with examples of tweets. So you don't need to have Twitter to answer the question. All right. So again, guys, I'm expecting theory, application, the whole way through. So don't give me any theoretical standpoint or any theoretical piece of information without supporting it with application. All right. Questions on part 3 at all? Okay. It's just any ones that come to mind now. In our next collab, we'll go through. I'm sure by then you guys will have bits and pieces you need to clarify with me. Okay, let's have a look at the last one then. Oh, sorry. So we must give screenshots of tweets in our essay. Yeah, Anita, you can either give screenshots of the tweets or you can quote directly the tweets. And then for like the in-text referencing would be at whoever 2022, 2023. Yeah, Karen, exactly. No, they've got to go throughout the essay. So let's say you raise the point about how it is an example of the public sphere because it gives us a platform to communicate. Then you would say, so when you embed things into an essay, you've always got to not reference them, you've got to speak to them. So you can say, an example of this would be the tweet from at Middleton Anwan, that's 2023, that states, and then you give the tweet. Or you'd say, by looking at the screenshot below of the tweet from X person, we can see how they are using it as a means to communicate their views. So either You put it into the text as a direct quote, or you put it in as a screenshot, but you can't paraphrase. For this kind of thing, you have to have direct quote or screenshot. Cool. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the last one. All right. So it's the effects of mass communication. So it says, for the past 2 years, the coronavirus, this is when you know it's old. For the past few years, the coronavirus has wreaked havoc throughout the world, and it was a race against time between various researchers and medical institutions to develop a COVID-19 vaccine. Various campaigns across the world were subsequently created to encourage people to wear a mask and vaccinate. All right. It says, with South Africa leading the pack in Africa with their Get Your Shot and Return to Play campaigns. These vaccination campaigns affected people's behavior and thinking towards the virus. So we're going to watch one now. Okay. Let me just share my screen with you. Share screen. Okay. Let's just have a look at it quickly, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, what did you guys think of that video? What do you think they're trying to do, should I say? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're trying to promote the vaccine through what? What approach are they taking to promoting the vaccine? Emotion. Okay. Showing isolation, that we've been isolated for so long, and then, if it's quite manipulative. Um, yes, exactly. Showing that, if we work together, we can actually go back to normal, which we know now, obviously, because we have gone back to normal. But it's quite it is a manipulative way in which to approach it, but at the same time they're trying to promote it through showing what will happen for your life if you choose to not have the vaccine, which again we know is not the case because so many people don't have, well, nowadays don't have the vaccine or the booster. So it's just looking at how effective it is in which sharing and promoting the greater public to actually get the vaccine. All right. So when you are looking at this particular question, you're not only drawing on this advert, you can talk about things in general. So again, 800 to 1,000 word essay, so intro, body, conclusion, and you can discuss the media's effect on society during the coronavirus pandemic. Okay. Now, what's important here, guys, is that you've got to look at both the positive and negative effects of the media during the pandemic, because we had information overload, we had fear mongering, but we also had information distribution, which we didn't have before. We had connectivity in a different way. So you can look at both the positive and the negative. So with that, you're going to explain which category of media effects campaigns like the above fall under. So what kind of media effects? And you've got to use at least 2 media effects theories, a short and a long term, all right, to discuss the above advert. Okay, so if you have a look for Learning Unit 7, okay, no, it's taken me to the wrong spot. Hold on. So if you look at Learning Unit 7, it speaks to the media effects and the media effects theories. Okay, looking at the long and the short and what have you. Just checking that I am saying the right slides. And I'm not. It's my Learning Unit 6. Right now. So I just need to see the front page to make sure I'm on the right one. I just don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So I'm looking at so many sets of notes from so many different modules that remembering. No, not 6, because that's have a mass. Is it where we jump up in Learning Unit 5? Come on, computer. Sorry. My computer says it's time to go to sleep. It's not really, it's just not wanting to open the notes. Okay. Come on. No, done that. So it's Learning Unit 4. Okay, so it's the early on stuff where they talk about the media effects. Okay, so all that I want you guys to be careful of with this one, no, it's not Learning Unit 4. All right, anyway, sorry. I will double check that now and I'll send it on our WhatsApp group. But just with this, please just be careful that you don't try and choose 2 long theories when it needs to be 1 short and 1 long. I'm just double checking if it's Learning Unit 3 because it feels like it is Learning Unit 3. I stand to be corrected. So the POE is 3 to 7. Sorry, it's I don't know why I thought 4. So it is Learning Unit 3, the media effects. Okay, there we go. So this last question on part 4 is actually from Learning Unit 3. So they kind of go to the later learning units, and then go back to the early one of learning unit 3. Okay, there we go. Now we're all on the same page. Okay, any questions with regards to this last one? Okay, so nothing from you, Sasha. Anita, anything from you? I know Karen's been kicked off. Okay. All right then, guys, that's us for tonight. If there's no other questions that you have, I should say. Any questions at all? It's a pleasure. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, they are nice. They are nice questions. None of them are too over the top or too tricky. They're quite straightforward, which is really nice. Okay, so when you guys get to working on it, please just send me a WhatsApp if there's questions, and let me know if there's anything that you need. Okay, I totally get you, Anita. Liza, any questions from you? Okay, all right. Night to everyone. Chat soon.